Hello, FPU students, and welcome back to Kinesiology 120, Concepts of Wellness. Today we'll be talking about valuing wellness, diving into creation and how it affects our overall health and wellness. Does God really care about our physical well-being? We all have different perceptions of a person's value, particularly when they consider the value of their own bodies. Think about how you view your body and how God views your body. As you serve God, it's helpful to have a sense of His perspective and to remember how God created male and female. And God saw all that He had made, and it was very good. The first chapter of the Bible teaches us at least two important lessons. The first being God made all things, and the second, God created all things very good. Not just some of it, but all of it was very good. From the beginning to the end of the Bible, a good creation, including good physical people, is a consistent theme. God recognized and provided for the needs of the first man and woman. He knew of their need for food and provided them plants to nourish them. He also knew of their need for emotional companionship and provided that in each other. But what does it mean to be created in the image of God? The image of God is something which concerns the whole man, his place in the world, and his future, his likeness in his being a child of a father and of his Father in heaven. One aspect of being created in God's image is that God and people are creators. All of Genesis 1 is about a God who creates, as opposed to Greek gods that were created. The Christian God is a creator, a God that gets involved in the creative tasks. One of those creative tasks is caring for your physical body. And just like Adam and Eve, you are created to be like God. The creation of you was also very good, and you are called to care for and develop His creation, which includes your body. We can bring honor to God by the way we live. However, Adam and Eve made a mistake, a horrible mistake that has affected mankind ever since. The fall. One person's sin has affected us all. Adam and Eve turned their backs on God in the Garden of Eden by eating the fruit that God had declared off limits. Ultimately, they broke their perfect relationship with God, with each other, and with all of creation. The implications of Adam and Eve were not limited to just them. We are like sheep that have gone astray, each of us turning our own way. We have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. A result of the fall was that people would find gathering food and caring for themselves much more difficult. In addition, people's decisions would be influenced by conflicting spirits or conflicting interval voices that influence us toward what is good and toward what is bad. All of creation is hurting because of this fall and this personal sin. We are still inclined to reject God, to sin, even though sinning brings negative consequences. Temptation surrounds us 24/7. We are given choices. Sin is inevitable. We make poor choices on a daily basis. Consider the seven deadly sins. Think about their everyday meaning in your life and in the lives of those around you. Each of these sins add brokenness to the world and to the individual's lives. The seven deadly sins: pride, lust, greed, envy, sloth, wrath, and gluttony. Pride. Pride is the root of all evil. Pride came before the fall. Pride is you thinking that you are the center of the world. Pride got to Adam and Eve, and they made the poor decision by taking the fruit in the Garden of Eden. When you get, excuse me, when you get mad or impatient in line at the grocery store, or you're stuck in traffic, you're exhibiting pride. You are not the center of the world, but you need to take a step back and think of how God would want you to react. Pride is the root of all evil. Envy. Envy is resenting someone else's good fortune, and resenting that fortune so much that you want to destroy their happiness. You'd rather break them down than build them up. It's a feeling of desperation. You hold on to a grudge, learning the ways of pretending, and you manipulate. It's a feeling of desperation. Anger. Anger can be defined as a feeling of annoyance, displeasure, frustration, or displeasure. It's wrath. We are all affected by anger. The thing that separates us is how we express our emotions. Some of us are more forgiving than others, and some of us are quicker to anger than the next person. Apathy, laziness, sloth. Having plans, dreams, and aspirations to do something to achieve life goals, but you make no attempt to attain these goals. It's a lack of motivation or a lack of care. You're dishonoring God by not taking action and making the change. Greed. Materialism or avarice. Greed. Greed makes us want the best car, the best house, more money, and you'll do anything to get it. You count on money and material things, and you will eventually feel emptiness and failure. If you base your whole life on money and material things, you will eventually feel emptiness and failure. Gluttony or overindulgence. You're captive to food. You want more food and your stomach becomes your God. You eat for pleasure rather than eating for your health. Lust, sinful desire. Desires are like sponges that never become saturated. You can never get enough. One drink turns into a second, a third, and so on. One look at a sexy picture seems innocent, but the look calls for more. Addictions come from these kinds of cravings. Such behavior ultimately damages your body, holds you captive for things you crave, and it leaves you dissatisfied, searching for what you're missing, and empty. However, through God's patience and caring love, we have been given the opportunity to redeem ourselves. For since death came through man, the resurrection of the dead comes also through a man. For as in Adam all die, so in Christ all will be made alive. Instead of injury through furious anger, instead of being mad and taking out your frustrations on somebody, we can experience healing through gentle, irrational forgiveness. Compassion. Show some compassion, and forgiveness can break the chains and set you free. Peace gives life to the body. Peace gives you a sense of calmness. Redemption. The rebellion against God causes people to be miserable, unhealthy, and unwell. But there is hope. Christ says, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Christ died and rose again to bring back life. Through Christ's redemptive work, people are reconciled to God and are challenged to make all things as they were created and meant to be, very good. Redemption means that all things are made new through Christ. The opposite of sinning causes healing. The 7 deadly sins cause much brokenness, but the opposite of each sin brings healing. We are forgiven. Peace gives life to the body. Fulfillment. Fulfillment is God's honoring his promise that all things will be made new and that there will be an eternal new heaven and a new earth. Pardon me. In John 14, Jesus said, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God. Trust also in me. I'm going to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you with me, that you will also be where I am." Today is part of eternity. Death is only a passing from this life to the next. It is a much more satisfying feeling to be active and working towards your goals, honoring God and following his word. Glorify God with your body. Change your lifestyle. Offer your body as a tool of righteousness. You only get one chance. You only have one body. Honor God by making the commitment to better your well-being.